Coming from HousingWire Annual with not only the best loan officer in America, but the best loan officer on planet Earth. So we are privileged here to learn from the best. And Shant, I want you to tell us what has been the craziest thing so far this year.
First, I appreciate the opportunity to be here. Good to, obviously be here with you and see you in person. Thank you for everything you've been doing. What's the craziest thing I've seen this year? Who thought we'd be talking about rates in the 8%?
Yes.
It's like, this is, I've been in this business 20 years, and to see the contrast between 2020, 2021, even early 2022, and how fast things have changed. And what's crazy is the market keeps on moving, and people are still buying houses, and people are still into housing. So that's the craziest thing I've seen this year.
For loan officers to learn from the best, what is the best advice you would give them?
Well, so I think it's just really important to understand, what the challenges and obstacles in the market are for your clients, for your partners, and then have a solution for that, right? So obviously there's affordability is a big concern as home prices have gone up and rates have gone up. And then ultimately how to win, right? Because inventory has been so low and the demand has still been high, which a lot of people didn't think. So as a loan officer, I think as a professional, I think it's what I've been trying to do is figure out how I can help the challenge of affordability with understanding products and solutions. And I think as a partner for my realtors and my clients, teaching them the tools and tricks they need to do to win and have them stand out in a tough market. So personally, I think getting your mindset right and having the right perspective and educating yourself on, products, rates, listening to guys like you and taking in all that information, because certainly that's above a lot of us, right? In terms of understanding the technicals and relying on somebody like you. So just being a sponge and just learning from the experts and then just being a better advisor to your clients.
As a former LO, with the bond market so wild, how have you dealt with the volatility?
So I would say, one, setting super clear expectations with clients in terms of what the numbers look like in the options, very, very transparent. And then I've just been advising everyone upon having an offer accepted, or even, perhaps with some of our lock and roll products, to just get that rate locked in. Because at that point, up until you lock, that's when you really care. Once you get that rate secured, ultimately, if you're comfortable with your payment, you're comfortable with your down payment, your closing costs, and you love the house, you're focused on getting to the finish line at that point.
I always thought it was an unnecessary evil to try to float sometimes in a market like this. The stress that you put on yourself,
It's never worked. In 2000, I could go back to any points in my career when there's been volatile times, the stress, it actually becomes a massive distraction if you're trying to float and figure that out.
Yeah.
Lock the rate in. Certain investors have float down policies and stuff, so you can utilize those whenever, but lock the rate in and move on towards the finish line. Obviously, we can call and refinance later, as has proven the case, thousands upon thousands of times. But I never try to gamble with my clients' money.
For yourself, is there anything different that you did this year compared to the crazy years of 2020 and 2021?
Yeah, I feel like I'm a much better loan officer now. Because in 2020 and 2021, the trick to that market was just being able to get as many transactions as possible and being as available as possible because the demand was so high. Now it's all about just consult and advise at the highest level. You have to know every single product option out there, and you have to be able to communicate it to your clients and really add value to them. So I've just become a student of this business and tried to just become the absolute best advisor every single time.
And for your own outlook over the next 2 years, what are you looking forward to? Just assume that rates stay flat or lower. As the best loan officer on planet Earth, are you ready to kill it even more?
You wouldn't believe. You have to have optimism and hope, right? However, you have to be real as well. So my take on it is, I think as things normalize or people, the expectation shifts. I remember when rates went from 3 to 4 and 5, everybody's oh, that's so high. And then all of a sudden, people were happy with 6 and 7 and, because ultimately there's still a need for housing, right? However, I think we are going to catch, pockets of refinances here and there. The higher they go, the bigger the refinance opportunity becomes eventually. I think the trick right now is I think this market is the biggest opportunity that I've had in my career, in the sense that, and people have talked about it today so far at HousingWire. Like, this is a market where you can just go out and grab so much market share and stand out amongst the crowd, because I think the best are totally going to rise to the occasion and stand out and I think years like this are going to create careers for people that really show up during a tough market like this. So that's what I get excited about.
Shant, today, what would you tell yourself 20 years ago when you first started?
There's
a lot of young loan officers that are coming in, and they got in a crazy time.
Yeah.
But what would you tell yourself? Tell you 20 years ago?
What's funny is the person. One, a lot of what we talked about already. Like, I'm very fortunate, Logan. I started in 2007, 2008 when things were really, really hard, and I'm actually relying on that. So, like, if I look back at what I did, certainly I didn't have everything figured out, but like, I really just focused on like outworking my competition and just learning everything about the products that were available to me and just being a resource for my partners and my clients. And so that's actually why I've had success, because I showed up at a really, really hard time. So like, this is an amazing time to start in this business, because like, if you do a really great job and show up and outwork all your competition and become a student of this industry, you can really have a huge opportunity. So my advice would be, do not listen to all the noise out there, because there's so much noise. Just focus on what you can control, offer great value to your partners and your clients, and this is an amazing industry and it's an amazing career.
Well, listen, everyone, this is the best loan officer on planet Earth, okay? What he gave to you is a privilege. You should learn from it. Use it, especially in the next few years. This is the man. Nobody else beats him.
I appreciate it.
Pleasure.